It's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks since he stopped replying. Not to my texts. Not to my calls. Not even to the handwritten letter I left on his doorstep, which I know for a fact he found because I saw it was gone the next morning. He's just gone. Like we never shared a bed. Like he never kissed my forehead before sleep. Like I didn't once catch him staring at me in the morning with that look that said, "I could love you forever." My friends keep telling me to let it go. That's his loss. Maybe he wasn't ready for a real woman. He's just being dramatic. But deep down, I know it's not his loss. It's mine. And I earned it. It happened the night we were all drinking, Josh, me, and 2 of his friends from work. I was tipsy, loose, too loud. We were playing some ridiculous truth or drink game, and someone asked, "Have you ever cheated on someone?" And I, like the fool I am, laughed and said, "Honestly, I've cheated on every guy I've ever dated. It just happens." The table went quiet. Even the guys who'd been laughing all night shifted in their seats. Josh's hand slipped off my leg. At the time, I thought, whatever. It's not like I cheated on him. We're solid. I tried to laugh it off. I even nudged him playfully and said, "But don't worry. You're different." But he didn't smile. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me. Like I was suddenly someone he'd never met before. And now I can't stop replaying it. The way I said it. The way he looked at me. The silence that followed. And the space that's been growing between us ever since. I thought I finally found someone who saw me differently, someone I could finally build something real with. But I guess when you show someone the ugliest parts of who you used to be, sometimes, they believe you. And sometimes, they walk away without giving you the chance to prove you've changed. I met Josh in a bookstore. Not on an app. Not at a party. Not through some friend of a friend who swore we'd totally vibe. Just, aisle 4, fiction and essays. I was reaching for a copy of The Bell Jar when his hand grazed mine. He smiled. Said something dorky about great minds and tragic women. I laughed. We talked for 30 minutes right there on the floor like we were already old friends. He was quiet, thoughtful, kind, and when he asked if I wanted to grab coffee, I said yes before I even realized I'd agreed. Josh was unlike any man I'd ever dated. No games. No emotional whiplash. No storm. I'd spent so many years with men who made me feel like I had to earn their love, by shrinking myself, by apologizing constantly, by being whatever version of not too much they wanted that week. But Josh. He showed up. Every time. Picnics in the park. Custom Spotify playlists. That one time he drove 2 hours just to bring me soup when I was sick. His love didn't come crashing in like lightning. It came like sunrise. Slow. Certain. Safe. And for a while, that terrified me. I was always the storm, I told my therapist once. Josh was the first guy who made me want to be calm. But wanting peace doesn't mean knowing how to hold on to it. Because sometimes, I'd catch myself picking little fights over nothing. Or pulling away just to see if he'd chase. I hated how perfect he was. Not because I didn't appreciate it, but because I couldn't believe someone like him would stay with someone like me. And deep down, I hadn't fully forgiven myself for who I used to be. The lies. The cheating. The way I tore through people's lives and walked away without looking back. I told myself I was better now. That Josh brought that out in me. But I never actually had to prove it, until I opened my mouth that night. I don't even remember how the conversation started. We were drinking wine on his friend Ben's balcony, playing some version of Truth or Dare. One glass turned into 4. Everyone was laughing, loose, carefree. And then someone joked, "Who here's ever cheated?" And I laughed. What came out of my mouth next would unravel everything. But in that moment, I thought I was just being honest. It started off as one of those perfect nights. Josh, me, his friend Ben, and Ben's girlfriend Amanda. Wine. Soft music. Rooftop breeze. The kind of night that feels timeless. I was curled up next to Josh on the couch, head on his shoulder, cheeks warm from the wine. We were all tipsy, laughing over some dumb, truth or drink card game Amanda brought. The questions got more ridiculous by the minute. Ben had just confessed to peeing in his neighbor's pool as a teenager, and we were all doubled over when Amanda asked, "All right, serious one. Who here has ever cheated?" Ben groaned. Amanda laughed. And I leaned back, grinned, and said the sentence that killed everything. Men are dumb. I cheated on every single one, and they never found out. I thought I was being funny. I thought I was being cool. Josh's arm slowly dropped from around my shoulder. The laughter faded fast. Amanda cleared her throat. Ben took a long sip of his drink. I turned to Josh and tried to recover, "But not you. You're different. I mean, it's not like I'd ever." I trailed off. Because Josh wasn't looking at me. Not with amusement. Not with anger. Just emptiness. Like something inside him had just gone quiet. He didn't say a word the rest of the night. When we left, he gave Amanda a polite hug, nodded at Ben, and walked me to the car without touching my hand. I told myself it was the wine. That he was just tired. That we'd talk about it in the morning. But the next day, he barely responded to my texts. One-word answers. No emojis. No, babe. No call that night. No good morning the next day. By day 3, he'd stopped responding altogether. I tried everything. Jokes. Apologies. Long texts. Nothing landed. A week later, I showed up at his apartment. His car was there, lights were on. I knocked. No answer. I left a handwritten note on his doormat, one of those long, desperate letters that spill everything. My past. My shame. My feelings. How much I didn't mean what I said. It was gone the next morning. But still, nothing. No, I'm done. No angry goodbye. No chance to explain. Just silence. And the thing is, I didn't cheat on Josh. I never even thought about it. But with one careless sentence, I confirmed every fear he didn't even know he had about me. And when he looked at me that night, I knew I'd become the version of myself he never wanted to believe existed. The silence was louder than any fight I'd ever had. At first, I panicked. I called. Again. And again. Texted things like, "Can we talk? I didn't mean it like that, please just let me explain." Nothing. So I emailed. Something long. Rambling. Apologetic. I told him how much he meant to me, how I was trying to be better, how I'd never cheat on him. Still, nothing. A week later, I drove to his apartment again. I didn't knock this time. I just left a letter, folded neatly, my handwriting shaky, heart bleeding onto the page. I poured everything into it. My past. My regrets. The way I used to wear toxicity like a badge of honor. How I finally found someone who made me want to stay. I even said the words I hadn't said out loud yet, "I think I love you." It was gone the next morning. But still, he never replied. That's when the spiral started. I replayed everything, every text, every date, every moment we shared, wondering when it changed. Was he just looking for an excuse? Or did I hand him one on a silver platter? And then came the flashbacks. The guys I ghosted just to avoid awkward conversations. The boyfriend who cried when I admitted I'd been lying for months, and I laughed in his face. The one who begged me to stay while I packed my things to go sleep in someone else's bed. Back then, I felt untouchable. Back then, I thought consequences were for other people. But this was different. This time, I wanted it to work. This time, I cared. And I sabotaged it anyway. I sat in my apartment one night, lights off, phone in hand, screen blank. No call was coming. And for the first time, I didn't feel angry. Or hurt. Or even confused. I just felt gutted. Because I wasn't being punished for cheating. I was being punished for proving I still could. That I hadn't grown as much as I wanted to believe. That the old version of me was still there, lurking, waiting to ruin something good. So I finally stopped. Stopped calling. Stopped hoping. And for the first time in a long time, I sat still. Just me, and the silence I earned at IT. Was a Tuesday afternoon when I got the call. I didn't recognize the number at first, almost didn't answer. But something in me knew. "Hey," the voice said. "It's Ben. Josh's friend. The one from that night on the balcony." We'd never spoken directly since. I held my breath. He sounded hesitant, almost uncomfortable, like he wasn't sure if he should even be calling. But then he said it, "Josh is moving." I blinked. What? Out of state. His company offered him a transfer. He leaves next week. My heart thudded in my chest. He paused. Then added softly, "He didn't want you to hear it from someone else." I swallowed hard, tears already stinging my eyes. "Did he say why?" I asked, even though I already knew. Another pause. Then the sentence that shattered me, "He was planning to propose to you that night." The room spun. "What?" I whispered. Ben continued, gently but firmly. "He had the ring in his jacket pocket. Told me about it days before. He was gonna ask you after we left. Said, 'I know she's had a past, but she's different now. She's not that girl anymore. I believe in her.'" My knees buckled. I sank to the floor, phone still pressed to my ear. The ring. He'd had a ring. And I'd opened my stupid, drunk mouth and torched everything before he even had the chance. That entire night replayed like a cruel movie in my head. How quiet he got. How far away he suddenly felt. He had the ring in his pocket. And I was too busy proving I hadn't changed. Ben didn't say much else. He gave me a soft, "Take care," and hung up. And I just sat there, on the floor of my living room, sobbing into my own hands. This wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. It was about betrayal of belief. About ruining someone's hope they dared to have in me. He believed in a version of me I hadn't earned yet. I thought I'd lost a boyfriend. But I'd really destroyed something much more fragile, trust. The kind of trust you don't get back. The kind built on forgiveness and faith and second chances. And with one careless moment, I crushed it. Not because I cheated. But because I reminded him that maybe, deep down, I still could. It's been 4 months since the last time I heard his name spoken out loud. Josh never reached out. Never responded. He didn't block me, but he didn't have to. His silence said everything. At first, I kept waiting. Checking my phone at red lights. Rereading old messages. Looking for signs that maybe, just maybe, he'd change his mind. But eventually, I stopped waiting. Because something deeper settled in, not just grief, but understanding. I've started therapy. Not because I wanted to win him back, but because I needed to finally face the parts of me I kept hiding behind charm and jokes and self-sabotage. The version of me who hurt people and laughed it off. Who confused recklessness with freedom. Who thought love was something you survive, not something you build. I'm not dating anyone. I deleted all the apps. I go to work, I walk in the mornings, I journal almost obsessively. Some days I feel clearer. Stronger. Other days I still cry in the shower. But I'm trying. Not to get him back. But to finally become the person he thought I already was. Because that's the part one can't let go of. He loved me more than I loved myself. And I made sure he paid for it. Josh saw something in me, some potential version I hadn't yet become. He looked at the worst of me and still thought I was worth believing in. And when I laughed that night, when I made that awful joke like my past was a personality trait, I proved to him that I hadn't earned that belief. And so he left. Not out of spite. Not even out of anger. But because you can't build a future with someone who still acts like they're trapped in their past. I haven't spoken about him to anyone in weeks. But sometimes, late at night, I write him letters I'll never send. I write things like, I get it now. I wish I'd been ready. I'm sorry for being the storm when you only ever brought me calm. He may never know who I become. But I'll know. And maybe, that's enough. Because some losses aren't punishments. They're mirrors. And when you finally look into them without flinching, that's when you start to change.